God cares about your suffering, you know. If only you truly knew how strongly He loves you.
If he loves me, why did he let Laura die? He should have known how miserable I'd be without her.
Death and suffering are both consequences of our sin. Jesus did say we'd have many trials and sorrows, but He also said, "Take heart, because I have overcome the world." By take heart, He meant don't be discouraged, downcast, and hopeless. He overcame the world, and because of Him, we can too. You have to remember and keep fresh in your mind that our story doesn't end on earth. Paul says that if our hope in Christ is only for this brief life on earth, we are the most pitiful than anyone in the world. He's basically saying that our lives will continue after we die, and if our hope is in Jesus, we're sure to not be disappointed. Though we can't see and understand, we must still believe.
Believe how?
With faith.
Heck, I don't even know what that is.
Faith is... Faith is the certainty of things we hope for but cannot see. In Hebrews, Paul says, it is impossible to please God without faith, and anyone who wants to come to Him must believe that God exists and that He rewards those who sincerely seek Him.
How then? How can I have faith?
In a letter to the Romans, Paul wrote, faith comes from hearing the good news about Christ. So maybe to activate your faith, you just need to pick up a Bible and make a habit of reading it. Don't be fooled, Mr. J. Doubt is planted like a seed in our minds by the enemy, and it grows the more we water it. The enemy desperately wants to make us lose our faith and hope in Christ and ignore God entirely, which leads us to a constant despair.
It's hard for me to understand just who God really is. I think that's why it's hard for me to believe at all.
But you have to believe to understand, not the other way around. The reason it's hard to understand is because you're trying to make sense of God's attributes. But that's just not possible for us humans. They are incomprehensible.
And what are those attributes?
Omnipotent, eternal, and perfect. Because we live in a world where everything has a beginning and an end. Eternity is outside anything we've experienced, so we don't have the capacity to study and comprehend it. We started that fire, and eventually it'll die out. Now, perfection is also an abstract concept for us, and so is omnipotence. But if God required us to understand Him in order to believe, nobody would. The enemy uses our ignorance as a seed of doubt in the soil of our minds. He doesn't want humans realizing God is real.
Why though? Why would the enemy want to fool us into thinking God doesn't exist? Why the need to hide that from humans?
'Cause He hates you.
I still don't fully get it.
What? What is it?
Why does God love us? Why insist on wanting to save us?
Because that's simply who God is. God is love.